Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome. I'm so glad to have you. So as you can see from the title, today we are doing the second part of building this cottage, which is the interior. I sort of just did the entire interior. I was gonna do it in parts, but then as I was working on it, I was like, I might as well just finish it. So it's the whole thing. We started with some lights because it's kind of a bad habit of mine to not do lights first, and then you can't really see what is happening in the room. So we did that first, took care of that. And then I just sort of freestyled. There really was no rhyme or reason to this. I did everything just sort of in any order. I don't know. It usually is a lot more methodical. I'll go like room by room, but this time it was like I started in the kitchen and then I went into the living room and then I went into the bathrooms and the bedrooms and then back again to the kitchen. Like I was just doing whatever. But it's finished. So really that's all that matters. And yeah, I started with walls, I guess, is the very first thing I did. And as you can see, I went with pink in both bathrooms and the laundry room. And originally, I was going to do the kitchen in black and white because I didn't want to have too much pink in the house. And I already kind of had a lot, right? And I felt like with the lavender too, it was just going to be kind of a lot. But then I ended up changing my mind because I couldn't find any cabinets that I liked to go with the black wall tile, and so I ended up doing pink wall tile. I changed it so that I could better match my cabinets, and oh yes, I did update all of the doors. I knew I didn't want those cottage living doors. They were just placeholders, so I ended up going with these ones from Cats and Dogs instead. Kind of a similar vibe, but just, I don't know, a little different. And obviously I changed the side door as well because it was also just a placeholder door. And yeah, I ended up going with this like pink wall tile, and just sort of decided like, well, all right, like we're committing to the fully pink aesthetic. The interior isn't necessarily entirely in character for the Sims that it's for, because this is for my Total Drama Island save. This is going to be for Eva, Katie, and Sadie. And I guess maybe it's in character for Katie and Sadie, but it still feels kind of extra even for them. So I don't know. But it matches the exterior, and that was something that was important to me, is that it's all sort of cohesive together. So yeah, we just sort of brought the like grandma's cottage vibe inside, as long as your grandma is obsessed with pink and purple. And I don't know, I liked it. I think it turned out great. And I am planning on playing in this save now that I have this house finished. I'm not sure when that is going to be, though, because I am getting closer and closer to my due date. And I am going to need to take a break because I'm going to be very busy and very exhausted. And so I'm not going to be able to play The Sims at all, really, which is a shame because I'll miss it. But you know how it is. Real life is more important. So I will eventually be playing in this save, and when I do, one of the things that I have been thinking about so much is that, I mean, they're Total Drama Island characters, right? And one of the biggest draws of that show, if not the biggest draw, is the shipping aspect, right? And when I was a kid and I watched the show, Katie and Sadie were a ship that I had. I definitely shipped the two of them together, and I doubt I'm the only one. And so I'm kind of trying to decide, like, all right, do I make them a couple in this save, or do I do something else? I'm not sure. And I'm really not sure about everybody else either. I mean, I originally planned on having you guys kind of help me decide, but that also feels like kind of a big ask, especially because, like, well, I mean, frankly, I don't really have enough participation in my comments section to really make that viable. So I'm probably going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting anyway when it comes to deciding which character gets shipped with which character. So I don't know, something for me to ponder while I'm taking my break. And when I come back, then maybe I'll have at least a loose plan. Depends, I guess, on how much time I'm able to like dedicate brain power to thinking about The Sims. So Yeah, that's something to think about. My plan is for the next few weeks at least, is that obviously this is the interior of the house, and then the next thing I'll do is landscaping. So that will be next Saturday, and then on the 21st, I'll probably post a Let's Play in my History Challenge save. And then I think the week after that, I'm going to start my break and I will be gone. And when I come back, I'm not sure if I'll come back with History Challenge or with this save or what, but I mean, honestly, I say that, but it's probably going to be the History Challenge because I'm obsessed with it. So you have that to look forward to, and also whatever it is that I end up pulling out of my bag of tricks for this save as well. I'm planning on being back probably sometime in December, but also it's kind of going to depend. I've already said this on like the routine that I have established, but also because that'll be the holiday season, it'll kind of depend on how busy I am during that as well. I'm hoping to be back before New Year at the very least. That's sort of my plan, but we'll see. I'll keep y'all posted. Oh yes, and these bathrooms, so they're a little different because they're kind of different sizes. There's only one shower. I didn't end up putting a shower in Ava's bathroom, which I might regret. I'm not sure. It always just takes them so long to take baths, and so either I'll put a shower in there later because it's going to bother me that there isn't one, or I'll just end up having her use Katie and Sadie's occasionally. But for now, it's just a tub. I did like a little clawfoot tub in there just because it's cute. Always with the rugs, lots of area rugs. This is going to be Katie and Sadie's room, so I ended up putting 2 beds. And again, this is also just sort of because I wasn't sure if I wanted to make them a couple or not, so 2 beds. And we'll go from there. And yeah, that little space, that little cutout on the floor plan that I originally used was supposed to be a closet. So that's where I ended up doing dressers and such in both bedrooms, rather than a full closet. And this is Ava's room. It's, I tried to keep a balance between sort of like sporty, but also, you know, kind of feminine. She is pretty feminine, I think. Or at least like, well, maybe not I think, what I've observed. She's a little feminine, but she's still, you know, she's a tomboy, so we got to keep it balanced. We got to have a little bit of both. And this is what I mean about going back and forth between rooms, because I started on her bedroom and then I immediately was like, oh yeah, I should do clutter in the kitchen. And so I started doing that, and then ended up hanging out in the kitchen for a while and just placing random clutter items. And then I ended up cluttering up other spaces as well, because I was like, oh, well, while I'm doing this, it's honestly, this is one of the more chaotic builds that I've done purely because of the order that I did things in. So I don't know what the timestamp situation is going to look like, because usually I'll do timestamps for like each room, and then you can jump from room to room so you can skip rooms that aren't interesting to you. But this time, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might not do timestamps, which maybe that's also very chaotic. I don't know. And oh yes, light switches, of course, always light switches in every room. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of it. I really don't have anything else interesting to say about this particular house. I am looking forward to doing the landscaping. I think it's going to be really fun to do sort of like cottage-y vibes on the outside as well. And I'm kind of trying to figure out if I want to do something sort of like sports related in the backyard also, but I don't have city living, and so I don't have basketball courts. And so that's sort of holding me back, because I'm kind of like, well, what do I even put out there then for Ava? I can just put a soccer ball on the ground, but like, that's just a soccer ball on the ground. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, which I guess I will at some point this week when I do the landscaping. But still, that's future me's problem. I'll figure it out. And yeah, I did bathroom clutter in Ava's bathroom just because there's actually a surface for me to clutter up. And then same for her bedroom on her dresser. Made sure to put some lamps on her nightstands there, which I wanted to do more blue in her room, so it wasn't just straight purple, just so I don't know, it wasn't completely monotone. And And I think it looks pretty good, looks pretty balanced to me. It is very blueberry vibes, but it's cute. Katie and Sadie's room, honestly, I wasn't really able to do a whole lot just because the two beds took up so much floor space, but I did manage to make room for a desk for them, so I ended up putting that in what would be the closet just because it looked kind of weird right by the door, but it makes sense to me right there next to the dresser. And then I ended up putting a desk in Ava's room as well, which I started to put it in that corner, and after I put it there, I realized it looked so cramped. And it allegedly was functional. I haven't tested it yet, but I don't know, it looked cramped. It looked like it wouldn't be functional, and so I didn't like it. I moved the desk, and then in that corner, I end up putting a sofa instead, which I don't know, again, allegedly is functional. It might still look cramped to some of y'all, but I think it looks better than the desk does just because it's not as, like, huge. I don't know. And did some sports posters on her wall because obviously. And then in Katie and Sadie's room, I ended up doing a gallery wall, which I am so bad at gallery walls, you guys. It's so difficult for me to try to get them to look, like, balanced and like natural. I think this one turned out okay, but I really wasn't sure. I spent a lot of time just shifting stuff around before I was satisfied with it, so that's what we ended up with. I think it looks okay. And then I realized that I had bare walls out in the living area, so I went and added some stuff out there, and yeah, one little plant. Not a whole lot of plants in this one. I don't know, it just didn't seem like the vibe since I'm gonna put so many plants outside. And then, yeah, again, some wall art in the dining area and in the hall to finish it out. And that's it. That's the house. Here are some screenshots of the various rooms so that you can get a closer look at them. And yeah, that's it. I think it looks cute. It's a little crazy with the color scheme, but you know, it could be worse. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give me a like if you liked it. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram if you so choose. Subscribe to me here. Subscribe to me on my essay channel. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.